Hi guys, this is Sadek from Dublin.com, and in this video, we'll show you how to root any Xiaomi, Poco or Redmi phone via the kernel SU, and I will use the GKI method. So what exactly is GKI and LKM? Well, GKI stands for generic kernel image, whereas LKM is the loadable kernel module. You may understand GKI as generic kernel image. So by generic we means that it is applicable across most of the Android phone. It is quite similar to a GSI ROM. In case of GSI ROM, there is no requirement for any specific phone. It's just that if your phone is Project Treble supported, then you may easily flash the GSI ROM onto that phone. Similarly, in case of GKI, if your phone has a GKI kernel inbuilt, then you may easily flash the GKI kernel image and obtain root. You don't have to download the stock firmware, extract the boot or the init boot file, then patch it via Magisk or flash via fireboot command. You don't have to carry out that task. Similar to how you don't have to get hold of the entire custom ROM, similarly download the GSI ROM and then you would flash it across all the Android phone. This is exactly the same case here in case of GKI. If your phone has a GKI kernel, stock kernel by default, then you could simply download the GKI patch kernel image from the official site of kernel SU and flash it onto your phone, and you will obtain root without the need to carry out any other task as such. One major benefit of GKI is, as I have told you, it is compatible with many more Android devices and you don't have to be dependent on the OEM to release the update. The kernel SU will automatically release the update quite frequently and you could simply get the kernel update from there. And apart from that, there is also an LKM mode, and LKM mode is not supported across many Android phone. As of now, I could only find it on my Pixel phone, whereas GKI mode is compatible and applicable across many phones. And as of now, I'll be using the GKI mode to flash the kernel SU and obtain root. But first and foremost, let's verify that our phone at least has a GKI kernel. So for that, your first course of action is to install the kernel SU app from GitHub. So go to this link, official link, and from here go to assets and expand the show all asset, and right at the end you will see the APK file of kernel SU. Download the kernel SU APK file from here and install it onto your phone. So I've installed it. Now launch it and make sure that it's shown as not installed. If it's showing as, let me show you, if it is showing as unsupported, then your phone does not have a GKI kernel by default and you will not be able to use kernel SU. In that case, you will have to use either the Magisk or the APatch method to get the job done, but you will not be able to use the kernel SU method. On the other hand, if it's showing as not installed, then you may move ahead and install the kernel SU to obtain root. So as of now, you could see it's showing as not installed on our phone. So we simply have to install the kernel SU module and get the job done. So moving on, before you move ahead any further, please take the backup of the stock boot IMG file on your phone. This is because in case something goes wrong, then you could easily simply flash the boot IMG file and rectify the issue. So on your Xiaomi phone, simply go to the settings menu, then go to about phone and have a note of the build number or the OS version. Then download the exact same fastboot ROM onto your phone. Once you have got the fastboot ROM, it will be in a .tgz format. Extract it using 7-zip and you will get .tar file. Again extract using 7-zip and you will get a folder something like this. Go inside the folder and go to the images folder. Then copy the boot IMG file from there and transfer the boot file inside the platform tool folder on your PC. So this is extremely important. If in case something goes wrong, we could easily flash the file and rectify all the issues. So once we have the backup of the boot IMG file, let's move ahead. Now you will have to get hold of Android SDK platform tools. So get it from my guide and extract them onto your PC. You could extract them anywhere you want. In my case, I've done the extraction in C drive. And these are the files of platform tools. Once you have done the extraction, let's now move ahead with the next step. So now you have to enable USB debugging and OEM unlocking. USB debugging is required for ADB command, whereas OEM unlocking is required to unlock the bootloader on your phone. So let's now carry out both this task. So go to settings menu, then go to about phone and tap on OS version 7 times. You will get a prompt that you are now a developer. So go back, go to additional settings and you should now see developer option. Go there and enable the toggle next to OEM unlocking as well as USB debugging. You will get a prompt on your phone. Tap on OK, and with this, debugging is now enabled. Let's verify the same. So type in CMD in the address bar of platform tools and hit enter. This will launch command prompt inside platform tools. Now type in ADB devices and make sure that you are getting an ID. If you are not getting any ID, then unplug and replug your phone from the PC. Disable and re-enable USB debugging. Tap on revoke USB debugging. Use the official USB cable that came with your phone and use the USB 2.0 port on your PC. So carry out these USB tweaks and make sure that you are getting an ID. Once you are getting this ID, let's now move ahead with the next step. Now you will have to unlock the bootloader on your phone. Do note that it will wipe off all the data and might make the warranty null and void as well. If that's well and good, you could refer to a guide and the video and get this job done using the official Mi Unlock tool. Once you have unlocked the bootloader, you will now have to find the KMI. The easiest way, there are quite a few ways of doing so, but the easiest way of doing so is simply launch the Kernel SU app and have a look at the version, which is 5.10.177 Android 12 in my case. Leave the rest of the value, it is not required. If you want, you may have an in-depth understanding of the entire KMI value, and regarding this I have also made a 1 hour long video on what exactly is Kernel SU, what is the GKI and LKM module, and how to root any Android phone via Kernel SU and how to find the KMI. This is a 1 hour long video, you could have a look at that. In this video I will simply talk in short and how to get the job done in the easiest way possible. So talking about KMI, you just have to get hold of the starting version, which is 5.10.177 Android 12.9 in my case. That's just about it. So note down the value somewhere, and once you have got that value, you will also have to make sure to download the latest build of the Kernel SU. I'll also show you that as well, because if you download an older build, then it will lead to a downgrade, and a downgrade might lead to a anti-rollback mechanism, which will lead to a soft break or a boot loop issue. So make sure to download the latest build of the kernel as well. Once you have checkmarked all these requirements, we will now get started with the rooting process, and as of now I'll show you how to root via the Kernel SU using two methods. The first one is by directly using the kernel given by the Kernel SU, and the second one is via the any kernel zip file and a custom recovery. So I'll show you both this method. First off, let's take the help of the GKI, which is the generic kernel image. So in this you will have to download the already patched boot img file, the kernel file from the official Kernel SU page. So from here download the same version which is there on your phone. So as I've shown you in my case, it's the 5.10.177, and as you could see, this is not there in the latest build, so not an issue. Let's proceed ahead with the older build. So let's go to the 094 and expand the asset section. As you could see, we have the 5.10.177, and these are the three variants of that build, 5.10.177. Inside this we are talking about Xiaomi, and in case of Xiaomi you will always have to use the GZ format, because in case of Xiaomi phones, the Redmi and Poco, the kernel compression format is .gz. So simply download this. In my case it's the 5.10.177, in your case it might be different, so make sure to download the same version which correspond to your phone. In your case it might be the case that the firmware is, the kernel is there in this section or in any other section. That is not a cause of concern. Just make sure that in case of Xiaomi you will always have to download the GZ module and not any other format. So download the GZ corresponding to the KMI version for your kernel. In my case it's 5.10.177, which is not there, so I'll download from an older build, which is this one, and this is the GZ format. So once you have got it, let's move ahead and let me show you. This is the kernel 5.10.177 in my case. So this is the one. Extract it. Upon extracting, you will get an img file. Copy the img file and transfer the img file inside the platform folder on your PC. So with this we have got the already patched kernel image. We don't have to do anything whatsoever. No need to download the fastboot ROM, extract the boot image, patch it via Magisk. You don't have to do anything as such, because it's a GKI or a generic kernel image, so it's applicable across all the phones that have a GKI kernel. So simply get hold of the kernel which correspond to your phone, and now let's proceed ahead. You will now have to boot our phone to the fastboot mode and flash the kernel file. For booting to fastboot, just type in adb reboot bootloader and hit enter. And now you could take two approaches. You could either temporarily boot the kernel patch image via the fastboot boot command, or permanently flash it via the fastboot flash command. The benefit of the boot command is that you will have the option to check the file if everything is working or not. If something is wrong with the file, then just a simple reboot will replace the patch image with the stock image. On the other hand, if something is wrong with the boot file and you have done a flash, then you will have to reflash the entire stock boot img file to rectify the issue. So it's always recommended to use the boot command, but not every Android phone supports the boot command. For instance, as of now I'm using the Poco F5, and in my Poco F5 there is no support for the boot command. In that case, if I use the boot command, I'll get this error message, which is the remote failed to load authenticate boot image bad buffer size. So in that case, I have no choice but to use the forward flash command. If you are sure that your phone supports the forward boot command, then you are free to use this command. But if you are unsure, then don't take any risk and simply move ahead with the forward flash command, which is I'm using in this case. So if you are using the forward boot command, then your phone will boot to the kernel SU patch boot image file, but that will be just for the one-time usage. The root will be temporarily. So after that, you will have to launch the kernel SU and do a direct install to obtain the root permanently. As you do so for the Magisk, it's the same process here. If you're using the forward boot command, then your phone will boot to the OS, and once it boot to the OS, simply you have to then tap on the working and then choose the direct install, and from direct install hit the next button, and then the root will be permanent. On the other hand, if you're using the flash command, then let me show you what needs to be done in that case. So in our case, we are using the flash command because the boot command is not supported in my Poco F5, and I get this error message. So for that, what you have to do is type in fastboot flash partition name boot, and the file name, let me rename the file to something shorter, or you may also simply do a drag and drop of the file. Both will work. So let me show you. Simply drag and drop this file here, and the file will now be flashed onto your phone. It will take just a few seconds for that to happen. So let's just wait, and the flashing is done. You may now type in fastboot reboot and hit enter, and your phone will now reboot to the OS. The boot up might take up some additional time frame. This is completely normal and nothing to worry about. So let's just wait for a few seconds and then we'll verify the process. So as of now, we have directly flashed the patch file, the GKI kernel file in the boot partition. So we have obtained root in one go. Let me show you now. If I launch the kernel SU, the app should be here. So let's launch it, and as you could see, it's currently working. So we have obtained root at one go. There is no need to carry out any other task. But if in your case you have used the fastboot boot command, then after using this command, your phone will boot to the OS, and as of now you will get this screen, but the root is still not permanent. So in that case, you will have to tap on working, then choose the direct install and click on next, and after that it will again patch and flash the boot image file, and with this you will then obtain the root permanently, and only then your task will stand complete. But in case you have used the forward flash command, there is no need to use this direct install method because we have obtained root in one go, and that's just about it. So guys, this was the first method of obtaining root, and as you could see, we are now rooted via the kernel SU. Now let me show you how to obtain root via the TWRP recovery and the any kernel zip file. So let's get the job done as well. So it's along the obvious line that this method will only work on those phones that has a working custom recovery. Fortunately, in most of the Xiaomi phones, they have a custom recovery. So whether you have a TWRP, OrangeFox or pitch black recovery, that does not matter. All the recovery will work. It's just that your first course of action is to download the any kernel zip file. Okay, before that, let me first remove the root from my phone. So the uninstall option is not shown here. That's not a cause of any concern. Let me simply remove the root via flashing the stock boot img file. So it will take just a few seconds because I am carrying out a new method. I'll first remove the root and then show you the new method. It will be easier to understand. So let's just wait for a few seconds and let me flash the stock boot img file. Fastboot flash boot boot.img, and we are now flashing the stock boot img, which I have extracted from the fastboot ROM, and the flashing is now complete. Now if I flash this file and then use the fastboot reboot command, the patch GKI kernel file is now replaced by the stock boot img file, and now our phone will reboot to the OS, but the root will be gone. I'll show you that as well. Once the root has been removed, we could then proceed ahead and flash the TWRP recovery onto our phone as well. So I have a detailed guide on that. So let me open that guide as well. In the meantime, let me launch the kernel SU, and as you could see, the root has been gone from my phone. The root is no longer there on my phone. So now I'll show you how to root via the kernel SU using the any kernel zip file and a custom recovery. So first and foremost, let's get hold of the any kernel zip file. So you have to download the same any kernel version which correspond to your kernel version. In my case, the kernel version is 5.10.177 Android 12. As I've shown you, do note that the Android 12 is not the OS version, it's the kernel version. It might be the case that the Android version shown here might not be the same as the OS version. As of now, I'm using Android 14, which is based on HyperOS 1, and over here is shown as Android 12. So both are different. This Android version has nothing to do with the OS version as such. So simply download the any kernel zip file which correspond to your phone. Kernel version in my case is the 5.10.177. So this is the release page and 5.10.177. Scroll down and I should get the any kernel zip file. This is the zip file 5.10.177 any kernel zip file. So I'll flash this file onto my phone. You may simply download the file which correspond to your version from the, you may expand the latest build and get hold of the file from here. If it's not there in the latest build, then you may download it from any older build as such as well, and this is the older version. Then you may scroll down and get hold of from any other older build as well. So simply download the any kernel zip file which correspond to the kernel image onto your phone. So for instance, let me show you. This is the any kernel zip file for my phone. Just a minute, compressed, and this is the any kernel Android 5.10.177. As you could see, it's the same 5.10.177. So once you have got the zip file, transfer the zip file onto your phone. So let me change it to file transfer. It will take just a few seconds. So let's transfer the file here onto my phone. And okay, so I already have the any kernel zip file. Once that is done, let's now proceed ahead and flash the recovery file onto your phone. For flashing the recovery, there are quite a few ways depending on if your phone has a recovery partition or not. So first off, you will have to perform a check whether your phone has a recovery partition or not. Simply use this C command, adb shell command, then change the directory via this command, and then use the ls, which is the list directory, by the name, and you will get the output. So verify if your phone has a recovery partition or not. If it has a recovery partition, then you will have to flash the recovery in the recovery partition. If it does not have a recovery partition, then you don't have any choice whatsoever but to use the fastboot boot command. In my case, I have a recovery partition, so I flash the recovery in the recovery partition. So let's get the job done. So for that, first and foremost, get hold of the recovery file from the official TWRP website or any official trusted site of your choice such as XDA. And once you have got the recovery file, it will be in the IMG format. So this is the recovery file. Transfer the recovery inside the platform tools folder on your PC. Let's rename it to something shorter. So let's rename it to TWRP, and the entire name becomes .img, twrp.img. Now reboot your phone to the fastboot mode via the adb reboot bootloader command, and with this we should be now in the fastboot mode. So let's wait for a few more seconds, and now you will have to flash the recovery via the fastboot. Now the command will vary if your phone, depending on whether your phone has a recovery partition or not. If your phone does not have a recovery partition, then you will have to use the fastboot boot command, twrp.img, and with this your phone will then boot to the recovery for one-time usage. You must then make the recovery permanent if you want. I'll show you that as well. On the other hand, if your phone has a recovery partition, then use the fastboot flash recovery. And the file name, in my case, I have two recovery A and recovery B slots. So I flash it across both the A and B slots and hit enter, and the recovery file will now be flashed. Once that is done, type in fastboot reboot recovery and hit enter, and your phone should now reboot to the TWRP recovery. To verify if your phone has two slots or not, this command will get the job done. As you could see, in my case, it's shown as recovery underscore A, recovery underscore B. So I had to flash across both the slots. However, if you have used the fastboot boot command, then in that case you will now, if you want to make the recovery permanent, then download the recovery zip file, go to install and flash the recovery zip file, or go to advanced and choose the flash current TWRP option, or apart from that choose either this option, or if you have an IMG file, choose install recovery RAM disk and choose the recovery IMG file and flash it. You may do so via any of these approaches, or you may simply use the fastboot boot command and use the recovery for one-time usage, and then upon a subsequent restart, the recovery will be replaced by the stock recovery. So all the choice is completely yours. Moving on, once you are inside the recovery, go to install and choose the any kernel zip file and do a right swipe to flash it. The flashing will now start and will take only a few seconds. So let's just wait for that to happen. And the flashing is now complete. You will now tap on reboot and choose system, and your phone will now reboot to the rooted OS. We have obtained root via the any kernel zip file, so via the GKI kernel, and we'll verify the same as well. It will take just a few more seconds, so let's just wait for that to happen, and then we could proceed ahead with the next step and verify the result. So we are now inside the OS, and let me launch the any kernel, or rather the kernel SU, and as you could see, we have again obtained root. This time around we have obtained root via the twrp and any kernel zip file, and our task stands complete. So one important thing with the kernel SU is how you could give it the root permission to the various apps. So in case of Magisk, if you have installed any rooted app, then as soon as you launch that app, you will get a prompt of super user. You have to then tap on grant and the app will have obtained root, but that is not the case with the kernel SU. Let me show you with the help of a couple of examples. So let me take the help of root checker app and the Termux app. Let me show you what I mean. So as of now, even though our phone has obtained root via kernel SU, you will not get the super user request with regard to any of the apps. So for instance, if I use the root checker app, let me show you the phone. So let's install the root checker app first, and this is the root checker app. Let me install it. Now if I launch the app and allow agree, in case your phone was obtained root via Magisk, and if you tap on root, then as of now in case of Magisk you will get a super user request, but that is not the case with kernel SU. As you could see, we haven't got any super user request as such, and that is the reason why it's showing as the phone is not obtained root via any module as such, but in reality we have obtained root via kernel SU. So why this happening is just because the app cannot obtain root. This is similar to all the other cases. For example, if I now try to install, let's say, the Termux app, if I install this app and launch it and use the SU command, again you will see it will not be able to run. As you could see, no SU program is found on this device. So to rectify this issue, well, it's not exactly an issue, it's just happening that the kernel SU does not automatically bring up the prompt. You will have to manually give the root access to each of the required apps. So simply launch the kernel SU, go to the super user tab, and from here you will have to enable the toggle next to the app of your choice. For example, the first one is the root checker. Choose it and enable the toggle next to super user. Likewise, you will have to restart the app as well. So you may simply long press the app. Apart from here, let me choose one more app. So let's go with the Termux app as well. So go to the super user. From the home tab, go to super user, and now let's search for the Termux app as well and enable the toggle next to Termux. Once that is done, make sure to close these apps from the backend as well. And now let me launch the app once again. This is the root checker app. If I now tap on verify root, as you could see, we have obtained root. Now it's working well and good. Likewise, if I tap on SU once again, and this time if I hit enter, as you could see, it's now working well and good. So you will have to manually give all the apps the root permission from here to get the job done. This is just for the one-time usage. From the subsequent time, you will not have to do so. So guys, this was all regarding the root permission. Apart from that, you may also reboot your phone to any of these mode via the shortcut icon. And if it comes to flashing the module, then flashing the module is quite simple. Simply go to the module section, tap on install, choose the module of your choice, and the module will now be flashed onto your phone. So as of now, I don't have any modules as such, but you could flash it simply via that method. So LS post is flashed via Magisk, so I cannot show you that, and the flashing is just exactly similar still. let me show you once again. For the sake of reference, I am showing you Play Integrity Fix module GitHub. So this is the latest build. Let me check out. So let's flash a module and I'll show you how to flash it onto your phone. So transfer the module file onto your phone. It will take just a few seconds, and this is the module. Let me transfer it onto my phone, and now let's flash the module via the kernel SU. So simply go to the module section, tap on install, choose the location, select the module of your choice, and it will now be flashed onto your phone. Once done, just tap on reboot and your task stands complete. Okay, one more thing, since we are flashing the Play Integrity Fix module, if you are flashing any module that requires Zydisk, for instance the Play Integrity Fix also requires Zydisk. So in case of Magisk, the Zydisk was inbuilt into the Magisk app, but that is not the case with the kernel SU. In kernel SU you don't have the Zydisk, so in that case you will have to flash one more module, which is the Zydisk Next module. I have made a separate guide on that as well. So let me just show you. If you want to pass the Play Integrity via the kernel SU, then you can refer to my guide and the video and get this job done. So what you have to do is simply, so this is the guide for the kernel SU. So first and foremost, you will have to flash the Zydisk Next module as well, because Zydisk is not there inside the kernel SU. So if you want to flash any zip file which supports or which requires Zydisk, then you have to flash the Zydisk zip file as well beforehand. You may do so from there, and only after that flash the module. And as you could see, in this case the module is showing as 1. So we have now flashed the module successfully, but still we don't have the Zydisk. So you may now flash the Zydisk Next module and then remove the data from the following Google apps, and after that hide the root and get the job done, and then you will pass the test. If you want, you may have a look at this guide and the video as well to pass the Play Integrity via kernel SU. So guys, on that note, I round up this video. In this video I show you how to obtain root via the GKI or the generic kernel image. Since it's a generic image, you could flash it across all those Xiaomi, Poco and Redmi phone that have a GKI kernel. And the second way of obtaining root is via flashing any kernel zip file which has the inbuilt GKI kernel via the TWRP custom recovery. And once that is done, you may then simply obtain root. Once you have obtained root, you will have to manually give the apps the root permission from within the app itself. And if you talk about the flashing, then in case of flashing, simply you have to flash it from the module section. Last but not the least, if you want to remove the root, then simply boot your phone to the fastboot mode and then flash the stock firmware, the stock boot img file which we have used. So let me show you that as well. So boot your phone to the fastboot mode via the adb reboot command, adb reboot bootloader command, and once you are in the fastboot mode, make sure you have the stock boot img file which we have taken a backup. This is the boot img file in my case. Now simply you have to use the fastboot flash boot.img. It will flash the stock boot img file in the boot partition of our phone, and the process will take just a few seconds. And with this, the process stands complete. Now type in fastboot reboot and our phone will boot to the OS, and with this the root is now removed from our phone and we could now work on a non-rooted ecosystem. It's also recommended that you first remove all the modules from your phone and only then remove the root, just to be on the safer side. While it's not compulsory, but it's highly recommended that you first disable and then remove all the modules and only then remove the root. Anyways, as you could see, we have now removed the root, and if I now launch the kernel SU, it's no longer rooted. So guys, on that note, I round up this video. If you have any queries with regard to any of the steps, do let me know in the comment section, and thanks a lot for watching.